Speaking of some of those like issues, I think I really liked when you were campaigning for Senate, talking about the basic bargain of the country. And that, to me, that's why I call the show the Greater Society podcast, because it's building upon the Great Society and the New Deal and these things that seem like this is what Democrats fought for our whole lives. Speaking of one of those issues, though, within the last couple of weeks, obviously, we both know, and everyone watching the show knows, with the overturning of Roe versus Wade, we are inundated with, not just in Pennsylvania, but we'll get to your response to it, which I found very admirable. But just in general, across the country, we're seeing states outright ban abortion. We're seeing just the destruction of the right to privacy, the destruction of women's rights, the destruction of reproductive rights. But I guess from your perspective, what do you think we can do with this specific issue? And I guess rhetorically speaking, not rhetoric, like rhetorically, I know the answer, but like actual rhetoric, how do you think that Democrats should go forward into this election cycle talking about the issue?
So first of all, I think we have to go into this election cycle bravely and with a lot of hope and joy. And that feels so contrary to what the current narrative is. The narrative is, well, of course, Democrats are going to lose. The question is, how bad do we lose by? Of course, Democrats are in disarray. We're having all these, in my view, silly conversations about who the president will be 90 years from now, and not conversations about who your state rep is going to be 5 months from now or 4 months from now, wherever the hell we are with it. And so for me, we have to stay very focused and recognize that, at least here in Pennsylvania, I can't speak about every state, but what excites me is we have candidates who not only are going to be able to hold back the gates of hell in terms of folks who want to take us in a drastically dangerous direction here in the Commonwealth, where abortion remains safe and legal, but where Republicans certainly want to change that here in the Commonwealth, where we have a governor who has vetoed every effort to try to roll back the right to vote, make it more difficult to vote. And certainly there are folks who are running for office who want to change that. We have a governor who, went to the mat in Governor Wolf to expand and have the biggest increase in basic education and special education funding in Pennsylvania history. And obviously there are candidates on the other side who want to roll that back. But we have candidates who are running who also want to do those things and who want to go even further. We have candidates who are running who are talking about, expanding the child tax credit, which we just, passed a very, very narrow version of. We have candidates who are running who are not just talking about protecting Roe, but candidates who would be co-sponsors for my bill with Representative Morgan Cephas, which is called the Pennsylvania Women's Health Protection Act, which would get rid of some of the barriers that still exist right now for folks who get pregnant to be able to access basic abortion care. We have people running who are laser focused on raising the minimum wage, who are talking about what we can do to make state government run more efficiently and effectively, what we can do to lower property taxes, particularly for our seniors, and build on the progress that we've made. And so the good news for us is that we have folks who we can be excited about supporting, not just feel like, oh, well, we have to support them because they're a Democrat. No, these are good candidates who are running. There are folks who are running who are just working moms who decided they're going to step up and run for state rep. You have people who are running who are small business owners who are like, hey, we're going to step up and be a voice for people who had a great idea and wanted to start something in their community. And we don't have enough of that from the folks who've run Harrisburg for over 30 years. 30 years, Republicans have been in charge. And so when I hear them whine and cry about what hasn't been done, we cannot trust somebody who's done the same thing for 30 years to now be the people who are going to save us. We have incredible candidates who I think are going to be on the vanguard of protecting our democracy, but also expanding the promise of America and making sure it reaches every single family. And it's why, even after I lost the race, the day I got back from vacation, I was doing an event for Kathy Spar, who's running for state rep in Chester County. I'm going to be doing a bunch of events in Berks County for folks who are running up there, including Tim Brennan, who's running, and so many others. We have a chance to flip the state house, which we have not had in decades. And that excites me. And we have in Josh and in John, candidates who I know are not only going to win these races, but are going to go to to Harrisburg and to DC and actually move the needle on things that we care about.
Absolutely. I couldn't have asked for a better response there, honestly. I think that positive message is what set you apart. That's why you got my vote in the primary. Always putting forward your message. And look, negative partisanship is part of politics, but that positive message and saying, like, this is what we're going to do, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what Democrats are going to do is always something that I think that we should put forward